In this short video, we are going to look at how we can solve quadratic equations using factorization. So let's just jump in with an example. Let's say we have x squared plus 5x plus 4, and that's equal to 0, and we need to solve that quadratic equation. So as far as solving quadratic equations is concerned, there's two steps. First of all, we need to actually factorize our quadratic equation into a set of brackets, so something like this. And then after that, we can proceed to solve our equation. So let's look at step one, which is how do we factorize a quadratic equation into brackets? And for this, the process is that we need to look at these two numbers, so the 5 or whatever the term is in front of the x, and the constant term, which is 4. We need to find two numbers. Those numbers need to have a sum or need to add to 5, and the same two numbers need to multiply to give us 4. So just to crystallize that a bit more, now two numbers need to add to give 5, and those same two numbers need to multiply to give 4. Now immediately we can see that our answer is going to be 1 and 4, and that's because 1 plus 4 is going to equal 5, and then 1 multiplied by 4 is going to give us 4. So what we do with these numbers that we have come up with here and here, we're going to use those numbers to rewrite this 5x, and let's see what that looks like. So let's go down here. So we'll have x squared plus, and now let's rewrite 5x as x plus 4x. And then of course, continuing on with plus 4 is equal to 0. Once again, x plus 4x is equal to 5x, and we've used the terms that we've actually found through this process here. So now let's continue on. What we're going to do next is group our terms into pairs. So we have pair 1 and pair 2. Looking at pair 1, what we're going to do is factorize out the highest common factor. Looking at pair 1, we can see the highest common factor is x, so let's pull x out, and then bracket, we're left with x plus 1. Now let's look at pair 2. There we can see the highest common factor is 4, so then we'll have 4, bracket x plus 1 is all equal to 0. And now what we'll see is, once we've done that factorization, both the pairs have this x plus 1 as its common term. So what we're going to do next is take out the x plus 1, and then in brackets, we're left with this x and this positive 4, which are on the outside of the x plus 1. So we have x plus 4 in here. And of course, that's still equal to 0. Now let's come over here. Let's just get that equation written down again. Equals 0. The next thing we do from here is we need to look at what's inside the brackets, and we're going to equate each of those to 0. So let's look at x plus 1. We're going to make x plus 1 equal to 0. Then what we're going to do is proceed to solve that equation as a one-step equation. So subtract 1 from both sides, and then x is equal to minus 1. Let's do the same thing for x plus 4. X plus 4 is equal to 0. Then subtract 4 from both sides, and we'll have x is equal to negative 4. So there you have it. Our answer to our quadratic equation is x is equal to minus 1 and x is equal to minus 4. Excellent. Now let's look at another example. Let's say this time we have x squared minus 9x plus 8 is equal to 0. So once again, same process. We need to find two numbers. They need to add to give minus 9 this time, and they need to multiply to give positive 8 this time. So once again, two numbers added give us minus 9. Those same two numbers multiplied to give us positive 8. And straight away, we can see our two numbers are going to be minus 1 and minus 8, and that's because minus 1 plus minus 8, or just minus 1 minus 8, is going to give us minus 9, and minus 1 times minus 8 is going to give us positive 8. So let's use these terms here to rewrite our minus 9x. When we do that, we'll have x squared minus x minus 8x plus 8 is equal to 0. Once again, remembering this is equal to minus 9x. Then, as we did previously, let's put these in pairs and factorize common terms within each of those pairs. So looking at our first pair, x squared minus x, we can see our common term is going to be x. So then bracket x minus 1, that's what remains, close bracket. Then looking at minus 8x plus 8, we can see our common term is going to be minus 8. So then in brackets, we're left with x minus 1, remembering that negative 8 times negative 1 is going to give us our positive 8 there. Okay, that's all equal to 0. Then what we do next is we take out our x minus 1, and then our leftover x and minus 8, we're going to put them in another set of brackets here, and that's all equal to 0. Okay, let's go up here again. X minus 1, x minus 8 is equal to 0. And let's equate each of those terms to 0. So we have x minus 1 is equal to 0, and x minus 8 is equal to 0. Then let's solve. Looking at the x minus 1, we add 1 to both sides, so x is going to be equal to 1. And then this time we add 8 here, and x is going to be equal to positive 8. So there you have it. X is equal to 1, and x is equal to positive 8.